Welcome to Flint Wrestling. Today I'm going to be talking about Clash at the Castle last night, 2022. What a show last night, man. God, that was a good show. That crowd was unbelievable. 62,000 plus. Um, just the look of the stadium. No, it's stadium. I apologize. The look of the stadium, the crowd involvement. Um, man, that is a big reason why I've always said professional wrestling fans are the greatest fans in the world. In the world, man. All 62,000 people yesterday just chanting the whole match. It's just really you don't see crowds like that in the US, maybe other than Philadelphia with that hardcore ECW fan base, but man, that crowd was unreal, man. Unreal. I can't I'm probably going to mention that quite a few times in the next half hour, how outstanding that crowd was. I hope they do another show in Cardiff in the future. That was really, really good. The first match of the night was, let me see, I got to label it here. Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss, and they took on Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. What can I say about this match? Good opening match. I'm a fan of all six ladies. Fan of all of them. Like I said before, I am when it comes to the ladies, I'm a fan of more women than I hate. Because I only hate not even a handful. I would say less than a handful of ladies where I can't stand them. And unfortunately, the hatred I have for the five that I can't stand, Natalya being a corporate, that overshadows sometimes the ones that I really love. But Alexa Bliss, what can I say, man? All-American girl from Columbus, Ohio. She's got that cute little face and very, very athletic. Really, she's small, but she has found a number of ways to get the job done year in and year out. And Bianca Belair, the EST, Tennessee Volunteers, man, what can I say, man? What a incredible athlete, tough as nails, good on the microphone. To say that she's cute, that's an understatement because 99% of these divas, all of the divas are cute in their own way. Natalya, I don't know, but the rest of the divas are cute and pretty in their own right. And Bianca just brings a breath of fresh air to the ladies division. She is just awesome. Her athleticism, I can't do a good enough job to describe what an athlete Bianca Belair is. Worthy Raw Women's Champion. What can I say, man? That whole crowd was going bananas over her. And then you got Asuka. Man, the Empress of Tomorrow. I've always said, I will say this till the day that I die until someone else proves me otherwise. I've been watching wrestling for over 40 years. Over 40 years, I've seen all the greats, men and women, come and go. Hall of Famers. I have never in my life seen a wrestler so fearless than Asuka. This girl is scared of nobody. Nobody. She's not scared of Shayna Baszler. She definitely ain't scared of Ronda Rousey. She ain't scared of none of them girls. The most fearless wrestler of all time. You put somebody in front of her, it doesn't matter who it is. A woman could have a loaded gun in her tights. I don't think Asuka would give a shit. She's going at her anyway. Asuka is totally fearless and a hell of an entertainer. I don't like to use the word entertainer or entertainment usually when I'm talking about wrestling because it sounds too much like sports entertainment, and that's just not a term that I use, and I don't think any fan uses. But what an entertainer. Very entertaining, badass, a lot of originality. that Japanese strong style, those kicks and those backhands and those kicks and punches, and just reminds me of the Ultimo Dragon from the WCW days. Now that takes us to Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Io Sky, God, what a cute little thing she is. Another one that's also very entertaining. I think it's cool how when when you got some of these Japanese performers from Japan, you know, like Asuka and Io Sky, and I'm sure there's other ones where you know their English ain't all that great, but they find a way to insert some English in their promos or whatever it is that they're talking about, and they make it look cool, make it look fun and good. And man, and another talented wrestler from the Far East. I'm a big fan of all six of them. I'm gonna sound like a broken record when I talk about these ladies. And then Dakota Kai, I'm so glad she's back. Dakota Kai, that I don't know what she does. She does something like this and she goes like that or whatever. The way she looks on screen, she looks like she is the snootiest, snobbiest, most stuck-up fucking girl in this world. The way she presents herself on camera as a heel. Had I never watched Shayna Baszler's YouTube channel, Baze, capital B, capital A, capital E, small Z, really, really good in her YouTube channel. She's a part of the Bree House. Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, Maya Yim, and Jessamine Duke. They're all four. They're like best friends, all four of them, real life best friends. And Dakota Kai couldn't be more opposite in real life than how she displays herself in the wrestling ring. She is so good at what she does. She in real life, she's very, very shy, very, very cool, very nice. Just a fun gal, man. She the scorpion kick, that's one of my favorite kicks. That's different. I've never seen it before. Maybe other people have. I love that scorpion kick because she actually looks like a scorpion, positions herself like a scorpion when she's kicking somebody. And then there's Bayley. You know, what can I say about Bayley? I'm also glad that she's back. One of the best in-ring performers of the last 40 years, men or women. Great on the microphone, great psychology. She's a great team leader of this team of three they have with Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Bayley. I'm so glad she's back. She's great for the game. We've missed her. She was gone for well over a year. I mean, she's pretty much the same, but still a little different. I don't know if that makes any sense, but Bayley is Bayley. She doesn't have to, Bayley's not a gimmick. She doesn't have to try to act like something she's not. She can just go out there and be herself, whether she's a baby face or a heel. People are gonna love her, man. Bayley's awesome. And I thought this was a really, really, really good match. Wasn't sure who was gonna win, but I was very, very entertained. The crowd looked like they were getting behind Bayley at the start of the match. That's the thing about these international crowds, man. Cardiff, those fans in Cardiff, I like them as fans, as far as international fans go. They're a lot different in Canada. Canada, if you're Canadian, you're the baby face. If you're not a Canadian, you're a heel. That's just how they roll there. They're great fans. They're passionate about their Canadian wrestlers. Kind of stupid, but it's almost like they don't. It's like they only watch wrestling if it's in their building. It's like they don't watch wrestling on TV, so they don't know what the storylines. They don't know who the faces and the heels are, even though they cheer for their Canadians. Canadians are real, but Cardiff is different. they they kind of they were cheering on their international superstars, but still paying respect for the babyface American wrestlers, which I think is very, very cool and very intelligent. At least that's the way that I see it. But nonetheless, great opening match. All six ladies did really, really good. I'm always entertained by them no matter what. Not just because they're sexy. It's because I think they're great in-ring performers. They work very, very hard. You know, they get injured just like everybody else. They come back. They know how to play with the minds of the fans. They're super awesome. The women's revolution is just super, super awesome. The best that it's ever been. I was proud of the ladies for that first match. What was the second match here? Let me see. We had, now this was all these matches were good. Gunther versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. Of course, we had Ludwig Kaiser in the corner of Gunther. And then we had Ridge Holland and Butch, the Brawling Brutes, in the corner of Sheamus. Man, this has to be said, man. I hope I never see this again. I like Butch, man. I think he's a super, super good athlete. I think he would have rocked in the cruiserweight division 25 years ago at WCW. I like Butch, man. But man, Friday on SmackDown, when he had that long hair out in the singlet, come on, man, Butch. How do you look in the mirror and say, okay, I look good. I'm ready to go out and perform in the ring? No, man. Keep that hair up. Keep that hair up in the bun. Wear your little khakis with your suspenders and the white tank top. That's a better look for you. You look more like a Brawling Brute. You look like Friday on SmackDown. You look like an Irish version of Juventud Guerrera. No disrespect to Juventud, because I was a fan of Juvi, but you look like a female American version of Juvi. Not a good look for you, man. Put the hair in the bun, go out in the suspenders, and just go kick ass and do what you do. This was Sheamus. Sheamus got the biggest ovation of the night. Man, they loved him out there. He was basically the babyface for this match, because this was like one of those rare heel versus heel match. I know we really don't have heels and baby faces anymore, but back in the golden era, a heel versus heel match was very, very, very rare. So when it did happen, it was a sight to see. Like, one that comes to mind was 1986 Saturday night's main event, Jake the Snake Roberts versus Macho Man Savage. When Savage was Intercontinental Champion. I don't know how that match came about and worked out that way, but they paired up a heel versus heel, and they weren't just heels. They were hot heels where people hated both of them going into the match. And eventually Jake became the babyface. But that's kind of what we had yesterday with Gunther and Sheamus. I like Sheamus. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a throwback to 10, 12 years ago, when I was still watching wrestling with my kids. Sheamus was around. He had that weird mohawk spike hairdo that looked weird, but always an incredible performer, former world champion. I have a lot of respect for Sheamus. He'll be in the Hall of Fame someday. The crowd was just, man, the respect that they showed for him was unreal. Gunther, God, those chops, man. Woo, I would not want to be on the receiving end of those chops. That was a great match, a very long match. I didn't mind it, though, because there was a lot of action. The crowd involved. When a crowd is involved and loud and buzzing the entire time, it just makes the match better, I think. They got behind Sheamus. They tried to will him to victory. Gunther, I think he's the future of professional wrestling. He'll be one of the heavy hitters. I like the German thing. I like the way he presents himself. I like the hands behind the back and standing at attention. He's just he's a good presence. So my hat's off to Sheamus and Gunther. Great Intercontinental title match, and I think Gunther is a very worthy Intercontinental Champion. What was next on the list? Oh man, Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler for the Women's SmackDown Championship. Where do I start? Big fan of both. Love both of them. I would have been hands down cheering for Shayna Baszler if she was wrestling any woman in this world other than Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Sarah Logan. If she's not wrestling any of those three, I would hands down cheer for Shayna like she's my favorite wrestler of all time. She's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I'm going to talk about Shayna first. Shayna, another, like I said earlier about the YouTube channel, you should subscribe to it. It's very good. It's called Baez. B-A-E-Z. And the first three letters are capital and the Z is small. I don't know why it's spelled that way, but I'm sure there's meaning behind it. It's a cool YouTube channel. Shayna's just a down-to-earth. I really like Shayna a lot, man, because, you know, I like to follow wrestlers on their YouTube channels. Baszler, you know, Shayna and I are close in age. I'm only like, let me see, I'm 3 years older than Shayna. So we're relatively close in age. We both grew up in the 80s. She loves her Minnesota Vikings. You know, being from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I'm sure pretty much both Dakotas are Minnesota Vikings fans, which is cool. She represents, you know, like a fan should represent their team. Now, I'm from Detroit Lions country. I'm not a big Lions fan, but I am from the black and blue division. So I would love to watch a Lions and Vikings game with Shayna sometime. Shayna's just cool, man. I wish that I could get to know Shayna, man. We would have a lot in common in terms of like the way we love wrestling, sports. You know, obviously we'd have the same musical interests in a lot of ways. You know, movies from back in the day. We would have a lot of favorite actors and actresses in some of the movies. She would just be cool to hang out with. And she's got that cute little voice too when she talks normal, man. She's got that cute little 80s voice. I can always tell when somebody is from my time of growing up, man. Shane, I gotta hang out with her sometime, man. Not a date, not nothing like that. I'm not trying to hit on her. She would just be fun to be like, you know, like at a nice bar and grill sitting on a deck just talking sports. I would love to do that sometime with Shayna. But I probably won't get that opportunity because who am I? I'm nobody. But the Queen of Spades is man, she's the real baddest woman wrestler on the planet. It ain't Ronda Rousey. It ain't Ronda Rousey. I know Ronda Rousey could put an average citizen in an arm bar and tear their arm off, and you know she's got the credentials, but she can't fuck with Shayna Baszler. I'm sorry. If those two ever go at it, Shayna would kill Ronda Rousey in a work or shoot. My personal opinion. That's just my opinion. Now I'm gonna talk about Liv Morgan for a little bit, man, because I saved this. I mentioned this in my first episode. I'm gonna bring it on the forefront now, man, about some of you fans out there. As much as I love professional wrestling, I respect the business still. I'm kind of a throwback fan where I still respect the business and I respect what they do. Even people that I hate and can't stand, I still have respect for them too. I actually respect Natalya, The Miz, and the Honky Tonk Man. I actually do have respect for those three. As much as I can't stand all three of them, but these modern day fans are some of them. Not that I'm some perfect fan. Okay, I'm not a perfect. I'm just a fan. I like who I like. I hate who I hate, and I think every fan should be that way. You like who you want to like. You hate who you want to hate. I have no issue with that, and I don't mind that if you're not a fan of Liv Morgan. But what's wrong with if you're not a fan of Liv Morgan, then cheer for her to get killed. Then go pay a ticket, cheer somebody on to break her in half. But instead, fans today, you know, when she cashed in that Money in the Bank back in July, the whole crowd was on their feet and cheering and begging for her to do it, wanted Liv to beat Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey just got them beating Natalya. and she was favoring her leg. Ronda was favoring her leg when Liv cashed in that Money in the Bank. Liv cashed in, the crowd went crazy. Liv had the whole crowd in her hand. And when Rousey had her in that ankle lock, where it looked like she was getting ready to snap her ankle, the whole crowd was booing because they thought Ronda was going to win. The whole crowd was booing. Okay. Now I know 4 weeks later there was that controversy at SummerSlam where Liv, did this when it was like a 2.5 count, and then the ref counted 3. But back in the old days, the old adage was if the ref didn't see it, he can't call what he didn't see, or what she didn't see. Because I don't know, I can't remember who was reffing. It might have been Jessica Carr or Charles Robinson. I can't remember. But the ref can't call what they don't see. Okay, so now everybody is back to they like Ronda again, and cheering Liv tapped out. I even read like some fans saying that Liv, what's the word they used? Her title reign is getting stale. She's only been a fucking champion for 2 fucking months. Okay, see, that's what's bad about wrestling now. These titles change hands so much and so often, and everybody gets their turn. The Nikki ASH one, that was the worst. I'm sorry. I love the superhero gimmick and all that shit. That was the worst in the last 5 years. Let me see. David Arquette winning the world title. That was worse. There's another. Who am I leaving out? I know everybody likes Mick Foley because of all those stunts. Oh my God, putting a strap on him. What the fuck is wrong with people? But anyways, she's been the champ for 2 months, and you already got people bitching and crying and snarfling that it's getting stale. She's been the champion for too long. To be the champ for 2 months is apparently too long for people now because they're so used to title changing hands. First of all, number one, I'm from the old school. If you have the title for a long time, I respect you more. I like the fact that Roman Reigns has been the Universal Undisputed Champion for 2 years, because when he does lose, it's going to mean something. He might not lose for a very long time. I'm going to get to Roman later. But everybody, because their favorite wrestler isn't the world champion, they think that the one that they hate is overrated. I've never said Natalya is overrated. I just said I hate her guts, and I wish somebody would smash her face in with a steel chair and knock 5 of her teeth out and break her nose. That doesn't mean she's overrated. Natalya is one of the best wrestlers of all time. I'm not going to take that away from her. And I want Liv to have the SmackDown Women's Championship for a very long time. Because to me, I'm more impressed by somebody being a world champion for an extremely long time, whether it's years. I'm not saying Liv is going to have it for years and years and years. I wish that she would, but I'm not saying that that's going to happen. But I think she's going to have it for a little while. And I would be more impressed if you were to tell me that you were the former heavyweight champion, you had that title for 4 years or 5 years. That would impress me more than you being a 19-time world champion. That multiple-time world champion does not appeal to me, because that means you lost 19 times. That doesn't appeal to me being Charlotte Flair is a perfect example. I don't know how many times she's been the ladies world champion, tag team champion. She's probably had a championship, my God, probably 25, 35, 40 times in her WWE career. That doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't. But I was a little worried about Liv. I wasn't sure how this match was going to go, because I didn't think that, like, the way that she usually performs, because every wrestler, like every top star, and there's a lot of them, they have their own way that they present their craft in the ring. Like Ric Flair, for example. Ric Flair, it worked for him. He did the same damn thing every single match. I could literally watch Ric Flair live back in the day, turn the volume down, and I could basically tell you what he's going to do 5-10 seconds before he does it. But it was still, the flow was always good. It was entertaining. That's what he did. I think other wrestlers do that too. They have their own little style where they get their spots in. I thought that going into this match with Shayna Baszler, because we know that Shayna Baszler can snap any woman wrestler that's ever wrestled in professional wrestling. Shayna could snap every single one of them. She'd snap Ronda Rousey very easily. I don't care what anybody thinks of that. You think what you want. But uh, I thought Liv had to bring something different to kind of, get a little respect back from the fans. I think the fans are starting to kind of rally behind Liv a little bit more than they have been in the last couple of weeks with that "you tapped out" chants and all that. She had to bring a different she had to bring a different style to beat Shayna Baszler. And I like the fact that she was working with Riddle and learning some escape holds and some hooks and all that. I thought she benefited from that in this match. This was a great. Liv doesn't get enough credit for her technical skills. Okay, I'm not comparing her to a Natalia, a Shayna Baszler, or Ronda Rousey when it comes to technical skills. Not doing that. But for somebody who doesn't have like a pro fighting background like Baszler and Rousey does, for somebody who didn't grow up in the dungeon like Natalia did, Liv showed me yesterday that she worked very, 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 very hard for this match. She put in the work. She sacrificed a lot because her and Riddle was hooking her pretty good when they were showing that little sparring session. He wasn't taking it easy on her. He wasn't potatoing her or nothing like that, but he didn't take it easy on her. I thought Liv did a great job. I like all that hard work she put in. And when she says that she'll do anything to keep that women's SmackDown championship, I believe her when she says it. I think that she means it, because I thought that her and Shayna Baszler, the way that they were countering each other and getting their spots in, I didn't know that that's the way the match was going to go on. I was very impressed by that. Probably, even though the match didn't last very long, because Sheamus and Gunther, goddamn, they looked like they wrestled for like 5 hours. Liv and Shayna lived up to its billing. I'm glad Liv got the victory. I don't think you've seen the last of Shayna, because even at 42 years old, I still think she's in better condition than most of the superstars that are wrestling now. And I would love to see a Shayna Ronda Rousey angle here pretty soon. I would love to see Shayna smash her, make her quit again. I quit WWE. I don't, make her quit again. Like she did in the UFC when she lost twice and quit both times. I'm a big fan. I'm always going to back Shayna Baszler. Like I said, my girls are Liv, Ruby, and Sarah. As long as Shayna ain't wrestling one of those, I'm always going to cheer hardcore for the Queen of Spades. That's my girl. Love her to death. My hat's off to you. You showed to me yesterday, and I'm not calling you old, because you're not old. You're a young 42. You're not an old 42. You're a young 42. And what you showed me yesterday, for you to be able to perform at that high of a level with everything on the line in front of 62,000 people on the other side of the world, I mean, Shayna is another shoo-in for the Hall of Fame someday. What a competitor she is. She is a badass. Badass. Great matchup. I really enjoyed that. What was the next match here? Number 4. Oh, Damian Priest and Finn Balor, the Judgment Day, versus Edge and Rey Mysterio. This was another match where you got four real pros in the ring. You always know who the pro, like the pros of the pros are, because they just they have an uncanny way of communicating, executing, just the way that they perform. I didn't know what they were going to do. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't know what they were going to do. To see Rey and Dominic come out there, I thought Rey got a hell of a nice ovation from the crowd, man. I think the ovation he got, it wasn't really the crowd like going bananas and berserk. It was one of those like where everybody was just, standing up, clapping and cheering. It was like one of those respect type of ovations. There is a difference between going bananas over your favorite wrestler and giving somebody a nice ovation as a sign of respect. Rey got that for sure. And then Edge came out there after Rey and Dominic entered the ring, and he had on the mask, it was almost like a Rey Mysterio mask, kind of. When he put the mask on, I thought that was some added attraction. Very, very cool. The match was great. To see Edge do the 619. I didn't see that coming. I thought that was totally awesome. let me see. Rhea Ripley, she, I think that like what she does for the Judgment Day, I think is really, really, really good. I think I just love the way she's kind of like a like a like a valet slash manager slash wrestler, and that's not easy to do. Okay, Sensational Sherry could do it. I think that Sarah Logan would be able to do it if they ever bring her back and let her join the Viking Raiders. She could bring to the Viking Raiders what Rhea Ripley does for the Judgment Day, but that's another story for another time. But another classic match with four great competitors: Finn Balor and Damian Priest being the upstarts, the future of wrestling, and then you got Ray and Edge, who are in their late 40s. Still putting on a great show. I can't believe that Rey Mysterio can still do all those aerial tactics with all those injuries he's had and the knee injuries. And I don't know how he can still do all that, but he's amazing. Now that brings us to Dominic, man. Woo! I think this is going to be good for his career that he's getting away from Ray. Obviously he kicked Edge in the balls, double crossed him, and then started punching the hell out of him. And then Ray, what did that clothesline remind you of, the way he clotheslined Ray? If you're an old guy like I am, that was a well-executed clothesline. Reminded me of when Paul Orndorff double-crossed Hulk Hogan in 1986 and clotheslined the hell out of him. It wasn't as stiff as Paul Orndorff's, but pretty damn close, and it was well executed. He about took his old man's head off with that clothesline. I think this is, I don't know if he's going to join the Judgment Day or not. It certainly looks like it. But hopefully the mullet was cool while it lasted. I know that was his way of dedicating that to Eddie Guerrero, because remember Eddie had a mullet for a long time. Time to lose the mullet. I guess join the Judgment Day and go out and do the damn thing, Dominic. I like Dominic Mysterio, but I think it's time to get away and do your own thing. And the Judgment Day would be a good start. I think it's going to work out. And so good luck with that to Dominic Mysterio. Who was next? Okay, number 5. Seth Rollins and Riddle. Good match. Okay, as I sigh like that, I'm not sighing at the actual match. The match was excellent. Seth Rollins. Nothing but love and admiration for Seth Rollins. Okay, another guy, Hall of Famer someday. Shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. I used to love the Shield. The way they came out in all black with that riot gear on, and the way that they would, walk through the stands. Seth Rollins is a bad dude, man, a bad dude. I can't get into this Seth Rollins of today. He's still equally as good, and I'm not saying he's overrated. I'm not saying he should be this and that. I think he's every bit as good now as he's ever been, probably better. Just not a fan. I don't like all that dancing, all that ha ha ha. I can't stand all that shit. I cannot stand all that. Becky Lynch acts like him. Before Becky Lynch, I know she's on the shelf for a while, but before that match with Bianca Belair, the way that she would walk to the ring and with those stupid shenanigans, she acts too much like Seth Rollins. She acts too much like him. It's ignorant and very, very fucking annoying. Seth is a badass, though. I'm not taking nothing away from his skills, his psychology, the way he can work a crowd. Not mad at that at all. Nothing but respect. I'm just not a fan. Those pants that he was wearing, he looks like that he raided the Disco Inferno's closet. Those pants that he was wearing look like the Disco Inferno's orange pants. It just looks like Seth added flames to it. But oh god, those pants were painful. Riddle, on the other hand, Interesting story about Matt Riddle. I was not a fan of his a couple of years ago. Could not stand him. Couldn't stand the sight and sound of him at all. The bare feet, the hey bro, all that. A couple of years ago, I'm talking about. I hated it. He's grown on me over the last 2 years. I love RK Bro. Love those two together, man. Randy Orton. I love how Riddle dedicates every match to Randy Orton. I love when he does that, and I love how he does that to the ground when he gets in that snake position and doing this. I love all that, man. I think that's cool that he's keeping Randy Orton relevant. You know what I'm saying? Randy will be back. We don't know when, but he'll be back. But I love the respect that he has for his big bro, Randy Orton. I'm a fan of Riddle now. Love him. Love him, love him, love him. Love that little skateboard scooter, whatever the hell them things are called. I like when he rides that thing to the ring. I think teaming with Randy Orton has done wonders for Riddle's career. Fan favorite. Everybody loves him. I'm a big fan of his. The bare feet. Like my buddy Smoke said, man, he thinks he's one of the Von Erichs or something, but no, Riddle really love Riddle. I thought this was a good match. I couldn't envision Riddle beating Seth Rollins at this point, at least not now. But hey, the match it lived up to its billing, man. They all left it in the ring. It was a good match. I will tip my hat to Seth Rollins, despite what I just said about him. I mean, that was a very good match. I didn't think there was a bad match on the card. All the matches were good, and the crowd was just unreal, man. Love that crowd. So that takes us to. It looks like the Miz and AJ Styles must have been the dark match. Thank God. No disrespect to AJ Styles, but no one wants to see AJ Styles versus the Miz. That's an opening card on Monday Night Raw type matchup. So let me see. That's going to take us to, I believe, the last match: Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. Let me see. Where do I start? Drew McIntyre. Another guy, much like Sheamus, the entire crowd was just going bananas over Drew McIntyre. I thought that was a nice show of respect. I think he deserved it. I think Drew McIntyre has come a long way. We all remember him, what was that called? The 3-man band, 1-man band or whatever, with Jinder Mahal and Heath Slater when Drew McIntyre was young. I think that was called the 3-man band. It's incredible how Drew McIntyre went from that to what he is now. Another guy that could just captivate an audience, man. He's tall, big, lean, great athlete. I don't know if any of you guys remember a wrestler named Wrath. He went by Adam Bomb in the WWE. And then when he was in WCW during the Monday Night Wars, he was known as Wrath. Drew McIntyre and Wrath are kind of similar in stature. And no disrespect to Wrath, man, because he was a badass. He was really a badass, but he's not 1/10 as good as what Drew McIntyre is now. I love the big sword. I like the fact that the sword's name is Angela, that he named it after his mother, because that's my sister's name. And my sister Angela is the coolest person in the world. But anyways, what I like about Drew McIntyre, his style today, I think appeals more to like kids and like preteens. I think they think that's cool, but it's not cartoonish and silly though. If you know what I mean, like the way the WWF was like in the early 90s, like 94, 93, where it got to be too silly and too cartoonish. That's not what I mean by when I talk about Drew McIntyre. he appeals to the crowd because, like, if I was a 10-year-old kid, and first of all, I am a fan of Drew McIntyre, but if I was like a 10 or 11-year-old kid, I think he would be my favorite wrestler because he's so big, he's so cool. The way he talks on the mic is cool. You know, a 10-year-old, who doesn't love that big old sword, man? Because, you know, as little kids, we all have a little play sword in our toy box somewhere. So I would be a big fan of his. He appeals to kids though, but in a cool way, not in a silly way. I hope that makes sense. But I thought his ring entrance was cool. The crowd was good. Tyson Fury at ringside, that was good. Now Roman Reigns, yeah, we all know the presence that he brings. Roman also performed well. I was happy with Austin Theory when he came to the ring and looked like he was going to cash in. I didn't think he was going to win anyway, even if he would have cashed in, but I'm glad Tyson Fury knocked him out. God, that was a good punch. Tyson Fury, you could tell he worked on that because we know that he can throw a real punch, obviously, because he's one of the best heavyweights of all time in the world of professional boxing. But the way that he threw that punch, because, you know, I can't imagine to throw a work punch over a safety rail. That's got to be different. That's different than rather when you're in the ring and you're just exchanging blows. But to land a clean shot over the safety rail, and to make it look like a work punch, which I hope it was, because if that wasn't a work punch, Austin Theory's probably still laying down there. I thought that was a nice spot. I thought that Karrion Kross was going to get involved because he sat at ringside, threw a water bottle at Drew McIntyre. I thought he was going to get involved somehow, but he didn't. But I think they're saving that for a little bit later on. And then, man, that was a long match. I'd say 30, 35 minutes in was probably when, how the hell do you pronounce his name? Solo Sikoa, which is the Usos' younger brother, who they say is the meanest one of the three of them. That was a good spot when he pulled the referee's leg and did what he did. Hopefully they keep him around because I think that would be good for the bloodline to have him. Because I don't think you should have too many members in the bloodline, but I think you should have legitimate bloodline members as they do now, with the exception of Sami Zayn. I think that's going to go away soon because I think the Usos are going to turn on him. The bloodline is going to turn on him, and Kevin Owens is going to save him. I think Sammy will be a baby face in the very near future, but I like Solo as a part of the bloodline because you need that meanness because the other Uso brothers, they're both tough as hell, obviously. You know, they could kill me with their bare hands in a matter of 3 seconds, maybe less. But Jimmy Uso, as tough as he is, he just looks like he's a nice guy. He's not mean. He looks like he's a nice guy. The other one, Jey Uso, tough as nails too. Okay, could tie me into knots. He just looks like a brat. He just looks like a little young brat. He's just very nerve-wracking. But man, I say let the little brother walk with them, the bloodline. Hopefully Paul Heyman comes back soon. And I wish that Tamina would join this group because she is a legitimate member of this bloodline. She's related to the family. And I just think in this day and age, I think it looks good when you have a tough faction and you got that one lady that's a part of it, okay? Rhea Ripley with the Judgment Day, I think works out good. I think if Sarah Logan were to join the Viking Raiders, because she's a legitimate Viking, that's not a gimmick. She's a legitimate Viking girl, just like Ivar and Eric. That would work. I wouldn't mind in the future seeing Bianca Belair, do some work with Street Profits. That would be, good for the game. Tamina needs to be in that bloodline because she's got the look. You could just picture Roman Reigns talking with all three Usos behind them, and you could just picture Tamina just standing there, just looking tough because she is tough. So it's time to add her and make that's the bloodline. Don't add no more members unless some real family members join the WWE. Tyson Fury and Drew McIntyre at the end, that singing session. I don't know about that, but it was still entertaining. A little weird, but it was real entertaining, man. The crowd loved it. I thought Tyson Fury played a good little spot there. Drew McIntyre, crowd showed it. God, this is like the fifth or sixth time. I can't say enough about that crowd, man. I would love to be a baby face performing there. Just an all out great show. I was very pleased. This is one of the best pay-per-views I've seen in a while from top to bottom. There's always going to be good matches in every pay-per-view. This one from top to bottom, from start to finish, there was not one match that I thought was dull or boring at all. It was all good. The atmosphere was good. The energy was good. Yesterday was just all out good day, man. To the American people that are watching this, we had our college football where, pretty much everybody started playing yesterday, and our teams were playing. We were excited about that. Got to watch some wrestling. What a great day, man. But yeah, that's my take on Clash at the Castle 2022. I thought it was a great show. In the future, if I'm ever critical on pay-per-views or whatever else, I'm not gonna like bury people or act like I'm the head of creative. They should have done this, and this. I'll keep it real with you. I'll let you know when something, when they're like if the Miz, like usually when the Miz is a part of a pay-per-view, when he wrestles, that's usually like when I'll go to the store or I'll go get something to eat real quick just to kill some time. I can't watch the Miz. Thank God that was a dark match. At least I think it was. I don't know. No disrespect to AJ Styles, but that's my take on Clash at the Castle. Once again, our next pay-per-view is going to be Extreme Rules in early October in Philadelphia, PA, which is, in my opinion, even though, I like ECW, those fans there are, as far as America goes, I can't imagine that there's better fans in the country than in Philadelphia, the home of ECW. So that's going to be entertaining. I'm interested to see what the card's going to be there. But man, look, I got to tip my hat also to Triple H. I think he's doing a good job, the way that he's running these shows. Did you guys notice that they mentioned Charles Robinson's name a bunch of times during that Drew McIntyre Roman Reigns match? Now, as far as Vince McMahon's Vince-isms or his terminology and banned terminology, one of his banned terminologies was the announcers were not allowed to, or the commentators, I'm sorry, were not allowed to mention the referee's name at all. They were not to mention his name. Even though he's in there, he just doesn't exist. But they mention his name quite a bit. And let me say one more thing about a T-shirt that I know everybody noticed in the crowd. There was a guy, they showed him real quick. It was towards the end of the Roman Reigns Drew McIntyre match. It was a white T-shirt and it said, "Better dad than Chris Benoit." First of all, we don't know that if you are or not. Just because you're wearing a shirt, that don't make you a better father than Chris Benoit. You don't like what Benoit did, I understand your emotions, okay? I'm totally fine with that. But in my opinion, the fact that you would take the time, and I know if you ever seen this, I know you're going to say that, well, somebody just gave it to you or you didn't pay for it. But the fact that you would pay somebody to make a shirt like that, and there's a man or a woman who actually profited off of Daniel Benoit, to me, that's sick in itself. Just my opinion, because you're wearing that shirt just to get attention, and that to me that makes you look stupid. That you actually paid somebody to get a shirt like that. Stupid. We don't know if you're a good father or not. Just wearing that shirt makes you look like an idiot. But that's just my opinion on it. I'm sure 90% of the people that seen that probably thought that was cool, but that's just, I'm different than your average wrestling fan. But there you have it. Clash at the Castle from Cardiff, Wales. Great matches from top to bottom. This is Flint Wrestling. Like and subscribe. I'm based out of Flint, Michigan. Love my wrestling, and I will talk to you soon.